Hi, I'm Rachel Greenstein here with Mark Citron. This is Frozen Futures. We discuss the NCAA's rising and future NHL stars. And before we get into it, there is some news to talk about. First and foremost, this one's a doozy. Projected first overall, which I have a whole. In our first episode, I actually said that I thought Stenberg was going to be first, but Gavin McKenna arrested and charged for felony assault. That's crazy. Broke a guy's jaw in 3 places. Crazy stuff going on in Penn State. Just wanted to acknowledge it. Probably shouldn't touch that one, though. Crazy. An act of honor, perhaps, but still crazy. That's wild. Moving on. Gophers. I know Mark's going to hate this, but Gophers swept the Badgers last weekend. They swept them. And
why do we have to
Wisconsin,
always talk about them?
Well, okay, this is kind of significant because at the time of their matchup, Wisconsin was like 8th overall, which have since dropped out of the top 10 of NCAA. Minnesota was 31st overall, and they swept them. That's crazy. This is also like the only weekend that Quinn Finley did not score against the Gophers, which it drives me crazy that he always does. That drives me nuts, but shouts to Quinn. He's a good player. And then Monday was the first round of the Beanpot. This kind of makes me mad. Northeastern lost in shootout to Boston University.
Right.
BC and BU are in the final on Monday, but that makes me mad. The Beanpot should not be decided by shootouts. I don't like shootouts to begin with. I hate them. It's like ending an NBA game in a slam dunk contest. It doesn't make sense. It's a team sport, not an individual effort. I hate shootouts. And I hate that Beanpot final was decided by a shootout. Don't like that.
Where do we start? I mean, we just went from boom, boom, boom.
I know.
I know. I don't really do drama.
Quick
so
news.
The first. Okay, I'll start with the first one. The first one, I don't do drama, but he's a young kid. You know, I was never an athlete. I was never a professional athlete, and you got to learn at some point in time, right? You don't need to hear from some internet guy with headphones on what to do as an 18-year-old. I don't. Is he even 18
voice
yet?
Of the Chicago Steel.
But is he even 18 years old? Like, I'm not defending him, but, you know.
Yes, he is. He turned 18.
That's part of being a grown-up, and so I think he'll hopefully learn his lesson. I don't know the young man, and really tough, though, because that could affect his – that could have, you know, regardless of what was said, unfortunately.
Like, he could be kicked out of school.
Even my mom didn't know, but there was, like, something said to her once when I was that age, and it was by an athlete in a hotel lobby. So the point is, like, hey, you know, it doesn't mean that you go, even if you have the ability to kick somebody's tail, as I say, he lands on his tail. But no, and so that's tough to see. And no one wants that stuff. So, and then Minnesota, yeah, I don't know why we talk about them every week here, because as you can tell, I quickly have a disdain for them now. And the third thing you brought up, which was, I agree with you in the sense of, at least, so there's ties though, like in college, there's ties. So if this is some special tournament, then there shouldn't be a shootout. Then there should be 5-on-5 over like the playoffs, right? I agree, totally.
3-on-3 overtime in college.
But then it's a tie.
Well, okay, so Beanpot, they obviously weren't going to end in a tie. But for people who don't know, general college rules, it's 5 minutes of overtime, shootout, and if it's not decided, then it ends in a tie.
That's lame. See, I think you gotta have a winner at that.
But I think shootouts are lame to begin with.
This could turn into another debate here. Okay, I actually there's a lot of like shootouts and stuff now, so I actually don't mind it, like, because you're choosing your top 3 skill guys, and it's like, hey, if it goes like 12 rounds, you're basically using your old team, like. You're playing in the NHL.
Okay, but how would you feel about ending an MLB game with a home run derby? Because that's basically the same thing.
A shootout doesn't take like another hour. It takes like 5 minutes. Like it takes like literally 5 minutes.
You're taking a team sport and placing the win on an individual effort. That's ridiculous.
I disagree though, because the goalies, like, that's what they live for. So it's almost like I look at it as a goalie battle. Like I look at it, who's going to stop.
But it's still an individual effort.
But that's what a goalie is. And so this is where we have a debate about, like, because some people, I guess, aren't goalie guys, but I think if you're going to have a successful team, it all starts with your goaltender. It always starts with who's in net. Then you go on your defense. But I'm always a goalie first kind of guy. Any center who says, it's about me. All right, pal, go look in the mirror. I'm a huge goalie guy. You're not the one stopping the puck. Oh, there's that ball. Yeah, mark it down. Like, honestly, give me a center out here. We'll invite him on if you're ever a forward or somebody. Give me a break, honestly. I mean, but for real, I think the shootout. I'm open-minded though, because in something like that, like overtime, I agree. When it's like something that's special or traditional or something, I guess traditional.
Yeah, just extend the overtime.
That's where I'm like, just do, or even do like 4-on-4, like overtime. I don't know, like it's like 4-on-4 is really underrated. I think that's funny. But...
Well, the NHL did in the regular season adopt the college overtime rules of 5 minutes, 3-on-3. Just makes it go a little bit faster. But I don't like ending a big game like that in shootout. I really don't like that.
I don't like
especially
that either,
when it was a close game too. Obviously, it was close because it ended in shootout. But whatever, I guess. BU versus BC in the final.
Look at and guess what? No, because I'm sticking with my pick, but easily.
You're still going BC.
But I have a feeling BU. I don't know. They're not playing like when Jay Pandolfo
between the two. I
we're
think
just happy
I
to win the game.
BU.
It's like living. I mean, I know you're in the NHL and you're a legend, and but like come on, that quote was underwhelming to me. It was just like, well, you can't just take a moment to just be like, it was an awesome atmosphere, and it was even better to get 2 points, but I guess not. He's an amazing guy, but it's like, I guess they really need the points, and so I'm like, yeah, BC, I hope they stomp on them, but I don't really care. I mean, again, I'm just going with my pick I went with 3 weeks ago. So we'll see, but I just know that Boston College put a whooping up in their 5-1 win, so over Harvard. That wasn't even close.
Poor Harvard. But that's actually a good transition because this episode is going to be focused on our undrafted players. And by undrafted, we don't mean guys who are NHL, like, projected to be drafted. We mean the guys who are past the age of being drafted. So in the NHL, I think you have to be 18 before the season starts to be drafted, and then the cutoff is 21. But generally speaking, if you're 20 and you haven't been drafted, you're most likely not going to be. It's not unheard of. Jack Harvey on BU was 20 when he was drafted by Tampa, but it's not unheard of. But we are going to talk about these guys who are 21 and over, and good transition here. Mr. Mick Thompson on Harvard. He is going to be an absolutely special player one day. Not the biggest guy out there, but we've talked about this before. The NHL landscape is changing a bit. Sizes. It's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't hold as much weight as it used to.
But it's kind of going back in that way with skating and
stuff. It's like back and forth. It depends on the organization, honestly. Like each team is different.
True.
But Mick, somewhat undersized, 21 years old. He'll be 22 in a month. He's a sophomore. In 22 games played, he's got 23 points. And last season, in 33 games played, he had 32 points. So he's been doing really well. We knew Mick from the Chicago Steel. My first year with Mick, he was starting to kind of come into his own a little bit. And then the next season was an absolute breakout season for him. And it's great to see him carry this momentum in college. He was invited to the Maple Leafs camp this past summer. So Mickey's going to be a special little player there. Shouts to Stacey Thompson, too. His mom.
DT. Yeah, DT. I miss you guys so much.
DT, Darren, his dad.
Yeah, no, well, I love those. They're such a sweet family, and McMuffins and Turbo. Turbo is the first nickname was McMuffins, and then
I love that.
Yeah, he got Turbo.
I still call him that.
It's so good. It's just, I think McDonald's had some beef, with no pun intended, with some lawsuits. No, I'm just kidding. I was like, I just want us to be sponsored by Donnie's. But no, I mean, he just said sick. We talked about that, and that's a good start. I like that a lot, honestly, because the Harvard guys, as we talked to, all of a sudden he's got 22 games under his belt, but he's a point per game player. And correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, he's still got another at least what? He's a junior, right? Or
he's a sophomore.
So yeah, okay, that's what. Okay, So look at that. Like he's putting up great numbers. So he'll probably play the 4 years, and that's the thing with me. I'm looking at guys even not just like that are going to be graduating, but I looked at just a little bit of everything. I mean, because we can start with the PR thing. The NHL.com piece was really the only piece. I found a couple other pieces that mentioned guys that are like going to be graduating this year. So overall, though, yeah, because Thompson, he's still eligible, right, to be drafted, and I would have to look
21.
at his birthday.
He'll be 22 in March.
So he's in. Okay. Because that's where I'm like, all right. Well, I think I'm not worried about him yet, but yeah, I'm like, he's a slam dunk for me to get a contract. I mean, he'll definitely get that opportunity somewhere. So teams that do their homework.
Because like people are like he's on people's radar, and I love it. Again, Mick is a good friend of both of us, so I love to see him do well, and he deserves it. And he's been grinding. He's been showing people that he's a special player. He's quick too. He's so fun to watch. Just zoom through that neutral zone, just like hop between defenders. He's really fun to watch. I've got a lot of players on this list here that I have in front of me for my undrafted special, but we'll stick with the beam pot right now. I talked about him so much the last episode. Dylan Mrskovian.
I was like, no. Can we wait till Max the Stone comes on to talk about him some more? Because I think, all right, we already know he's high on your list.
Yes. let me just go over Dylan Mrskovian's stats right now. Okay. Also 21, but he is a junior, so he's a grade older than Mick. Mick stayed in the USHL a year longer than Mrskovian did. Mrskovian in 25 games played, he's got 35 points. So
I'm not always
21 years old junior.
Points. I mean,
yeah, but like
different. Like sometimes
when you're an undrafted player, when you're 21 years old and you're on top of the NCAA scoring as an undrafted player, that's pretty incredible.
I mean, it's good. It's definitely an accomplishment, but
and then there's another undrafted player on top of NCAA scoring, but this guy. So we've talked about him before, and it's interesting because he's 24 years old. By the time he would be entering the NHL, he'd be 25. So that's a little weird. I am talking about TJ Hughes with Michigan. He's a senior. I think a big reason why he probably wasn't drafted is because he's not the biggest goal scorer, but that doesn't mean he's not putting up points. In 26 games, he's got 38 points and 13 goals, 25 assists. So he's more of a playmaker than a goal scorer, but the question is, he's 24 years old.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't really. Yeah, that's like a little. I don't really. Again, I think he'll probably get a sniff. Maybe he'll get. I definitely think he'll get a sniff. Like a. What do I? I'm not an agent, but
I mean, so
he's older though. Yeah, he's almost.
This
he's gonna be in the AHL. Like he's gonna.
Last summer, he was invited to the Rangers development camp, which God help him if they take him, because Rangers are where players go to die if they're young and undeveloped. They're horrible. And I think the year before he was at Tampa, so people have their eye on him. But he's kind of an interesting player because of the fact that he's not.
Yeah, I just don't think I don't know. I don't know if his. Again, I think he'll get a shot, but I wouldn't really. I would take a peek, and that's about it. I mean,
career AHL guy.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe like even Coast. I don't know. I don't know.
You think he'd go to the EC?
He's gonna be 30. He's gonna be 30 by next week. I mean, it's like.
Well, it's also like.
I'm looking at the guys
who are like,
Mick Thompson. I'm looking at you're right. I'm looking at the guys like, I'm not interested in the older.
But it's also at the same time, like all these guys we're talking about are all over 21 or 21 and older. So they're all going to be in the same boat.
20s, but no, I agree. Again, I don't think there's really, that's the thing about this. If we're looking for your diamond in the rough, it's not like we're going to really give it to you, but maybe we will. But at the same time, it's like, that's just kind of how it works sometimes with development. And like Tom, some guys, like look at our boy Will Horkoff too. Like he was just a little bit of a late bloomer, but he was a freshman. He's still so young.
18,
so
yep.
And then Thompson, I thought like, hey man, this kid's got a lot of ceiling. But, I'm sure his last year there was a lot of ups and downs, and, in college he's been awesome, especially in the Ivy League.
Back to Mick Thompson for a sec. He was actually a finalist for the ECAC Rookie of the Year. So,
yeah. Well,
Mick's been
like there's like a million people that are gonna win the Hobie Baker. I think you're on the list, honestly. It's like I see everyone's like nominated. I'm like, what is this? Like a millennial trophy? It's like because I guess people
Max
vote.
Plant for Hobie Baker?
No, it's like everybody. Like there's like 100 contest, and then they trim it down, and they trim it. I'm
it's
like, all right,
every month it gets smaller and smaller, and then you have the top 10, and then you have
the
top
final
3.
Just give me the final 3.
Which I will never forget. When we were with the Steel, I think you know what I'm gonna say. Adam Fantilli came for like a week or whatever, and we were waiting to interview him, and you said that you were gonna talk about the Hobie Baker, and I looked him right in the eye, and I said, yeah, I was hoping you weren't gonna win. I stand by it. Like, he split the vote. You can't have 2 guys on the same line in the final 3 for Hobie Baker.
That was funny.
That was crazy. You had Logan Cooley and Matthew Nyes both on the same line, the highest scoring line in college hockey history for the Gophers, up against Adam Fantilli in the final 3 for the Hobie Baker. Of course they're going to split the vote, and it's going to go to Adam. And I don't regret telling him that either.
Love that. That was funny. He was like laughing. That was funny.
At first he was shocked, and then when he got past the shock.
What do you mean?
Why?
He's like, what? All right, get your Gopher stuff out of here. I'm sick of it.
That was about Michigan.
Exactly, because it's all stemming from your Minnesota love, which they're still irrelevant for now. They're still irrelevant.
Here, you want to talk about something that pains me to say? There is a specific player on University of North Dakota. Ugh, I hate that school. Who is a great undrafted player.
Yeah. Jake
Go ahead
Levanovich.
and say it. Yep.
I mean, we were asking years ago why it wasn't just a late pick, or I thought he would have gone maybe in like the 5th. It doesn't even matter, as they say, like if you're drafted, because again, he's going to be another guy that's going to get a deal somewhere, and we'll see. I think he has a solid chance of being a guy that could, impact the NHL one day. Not like, I don't know. I wouldn't comment on his ceiling. It's just I think he's got the skating, he's got the compete.
Well, he's got the impact player too.
I think he definitely has a chance. Like, Ryan Ufko is a pro. I don't know if he's played any games in the show, how many he's played in Nashville at all. But like Jake Levanovich is more of a smoother but Ryan Ufko is one of the smartest players I've ever seen. But
and
both really
Jake's
good hockey
really good
IQs.
Vision too.
The
hockey
bigger,
IQ thing.
He's bigger. He's faster. He's the road runner. He's the road straight runner, up out of Arizona. He literally looks like him too. And
Ufko has. He kind of does. Ufko has not played a single game in the NHL this season, and he only played 1 for the Predators last year, so he's been AHL.
It's funny too, because Jake and I used to have a pregame ritual where we just go.
Oh, I remember that.
And he would motor up these stairs, and it was like the Roadrunner, because it would just be like all of a sudden he'd be like
beep beep.
He's just in your face. And I'm like, how does he go like that fast? Like that's I think how it all started, honestly. And then I realized it's from Arizona. And it's perfect.
That's what makes him so interesting too, is he's from Arizona. That's crazy. That area is starting to become.
We need to get him on. He owes me a favor too. He owes me a. Let's just.
Yeah, there's a lot of players in the NCAA who are very interesting players who haven't been picked up. Again, Jake Levanovich, UND, really interesting player, defenseman, which I am a stickler for defense. I used to play defense, so defense is my jam. That's why we both love our goalies. But this season, in 26 games played, he's got 22 points as a defenseman. That's crazy. The Detroit Red Wings had their eye on him. He was invited to their camp last summer. So he's going to get his day in the sun, absolutely. And I don't want to jinx him, and I hate saying this, but he could be one of the best undrafted players to hit the league if he keeps on his trajectory and gets the chance that he deserves. He could be a superstar. He could be. He very well could be. He's again an impact player. You notice him when he's on the ice. It's when we were at the Steel, there was a lot of problems with retaining leads with that team, but the fault never came on to Jake Livanovich. Almost never was it his fault. He's got the A right now, so he's a leader. When we were at the Steel again, we didn't really have a captain, but he was the captain. Like anytime there's a ceremonial puck drop, Liver came out to center ice. He was our captain. He's a leader on the ice. He's a leader off the ice, and his points reflect that. And I think he makes everyone around him better too. If you're on a D pair with him, you're going to play better than you were without him.
I mean, I think we've said enough with him. I think he's a good puck mover. He's offensive.
Don't want his head to get too big.
I mean, I want him to do well, but we'll see. What's our next player?
So I've got
let's stick on the Steel here. I like Ben Bexheimer. I like that kid on Wisconsin. Speaking of which, he's similar size.
Wisconsin's been weird this season.
They're not like top heavy. They seem
like
they're
like they had a point where they were like
they're good at a little bit of everything. I feel like, and that's about it.
But they're also like bad at a little bit of everything.
They're not that good. It's like they're not. That's just my.
But it's weird because like a few weeks ago, I wouldn't have been surprised if Wisconsin made it deep into Frozen Four. But now I'm like, no chance. There's no way. There's no way. And also, Ben, he's captain of Wisconsin right now, and he's got 20 points in 26 games. So
pretty good for
a Dyna boy as a defenseman.
He's undersized, but I think if he can skate enough, which he can.
Well, like all of these guys we've been talking about are all pretty much the same size.
Yeah.
They're all like 5'10".
His little brother's good too. I think he plays for Muskegon, if I'm not wrong. We just played them. But like he's not as good as his brother, at least yet. No offense to his bro listening. But it runs in the family. They're both good players. I think his name's Barrett, if I'm wrong. I could be very wrong. I should know that by now. But I don't think he was playing this last weekend. Yeah, I think he was injured or something. I don't know.
It is Barrett, by the way. And he's on Des Moines, not Muskegon.
Oh.
So close.
Sorry, Dan.
Wrong direction.
I mean, I was ready, but obviously he didn't play for Muskegon. There's just so many recycled players. Like, it's funny. Now I know why Pete Kaprusky was like calling players like their brother's name during the.
Okay, in your defense, he was on Muskegon. Okay. Now he's on Des Moines.
He got traded. Yeah, maybe
he did. He's only been in Des Moines for 9 games. So, you were still right.
Hallelujah. I was like, see, my brain might be messed up, but it's like good messed up. It means well. But sometimes it's not in the right.
Mine's in shambles.
I feel like some days my brain is in absolute shambles. So there's things to help, but
See, but one thing I'm noticing, a lot of these guys are from Minnesota.
Oh yeah, because that's why they call it the state of hockey, you know.
Dyna, Minnesota. I coached there for a season. Actually, I believe Jimmy Clark, the Gophers, was on that team that I coached. What team is
trivia question should be, what is the most players produced in the state? What town in the state of Minnesota? Is it like Maple Grove? I don't know. Like,
wait, there's so many. I'm curious.
That's where ChatGPT be like me. Be like me. It'll probably list them, but it's like fake news. You know, I don't know.
I know that's why I don't trust AI. I hate it. I don't like AI, especially when. Well, that's it. Well, that's great. We're on a podcast in.
It's different.
Social media. It's Warroad, Minnesota is the answer. Warroad, Minnesota. Notable player from Warroad, Minnesota. TJ Oshie.
We could do this all day, so I don't really want to talk about it too much, but like I'm interested. Is it Warroad, Minnesota?
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised.
That's why TJ Oshie has that.
How does it say? How updated is it? Is it updated? Is it like from 2017?
I don't know.
That's where this internet stuff's crazy.
I just closed it. I know. The interwebs.
Well, I want to give credit where it's due. I was going to say, we're talking about Minnesota. This could be like the Minnesota Star State podcast by this point. I mean, but no.
The North Stars.
There's a ton. That's what I was thinking too, because I'm just ripping them our first 3 episodes, and I'm like, well, there's a million players that are from the state of Minnesota, but they never like the Wild either. Like I talked to all the Minnesota, and they're like,
the
yeah,
Wild are so
Wild
good
games.
this year. I mean, they're like up and down though. That's the problem
Like
with them.
in Minnesota, they're all obsessed with like their town. Like they're just obsessed with where they come, and that's cool.
They all love the
Gophers.
You
sound like a high schooler that's like living in the day. Like, but no, it's a different deal. We get it, but it's like, well, it's just weird.
That's part of why, like, I think Minnesota
players
are
special. Yeah,
hold on. I think the reason why they're so elite is, firstly, there's so much talent in Minnesota. So many good coaches, so many good resources for them. There's a million resources. A kid's not going to have trouble finding a place to play hockey.
A lot of cottages.
But I also think part of it is when you're playing high school hockey in Minnesota, there's a certain amount of maturity that you need to have that most other high school teams wouldn't. Because when you look at the Minnesota high school hockey tournament, that is crazy. It is unbelievable. Standing room only. Like they sell out to the point where people don't even get a seat. And it's televised in the state. So like you got to be kind of mature for that because that's a lot of pressure to put on a teenager's shoulders.
Right. Sure. And can we move on now? Because
yes.
I'm like, I just get so tired of talking about Minnesota.
I know. But
you're right, though. So, I'll give you credit on that. So
let's go back to the desert, though. Okay. Desert hockey is very interesting to me. There's a lot of things that are really interesting to me.
Isn't it Mullet Arena? I mean, the place is called Mullet Arena, for God's sake.
They used to share it with the Coyotes.
It could be a bar for all we know. It's like it could be a local pickup gym that has a bar. It's a little stir because I'm like, I heard Arizona State's like one of the most overrated universities in the country in a sense of like it's supposed to be some big party school.
Oh, that yeah.
But it's like we're in the desert. I'm not ripping it. I'm just saying that, it's just like one of those places where I feel like the dropout rate's also pretty high. And I'm not a college advisor here. But
college advisor, yeah, don't go to ASU. But did you see actually North Dakota was there, was that 2 weeks ago? And their coach said some not cool things.
Tell me,
he said, and I quote, "You sign up to play hockey in Grand Forks, no part of it you want it to be easy. You sign up to play hockey in ASU, you want it a little easier. Funny enough, that's how they play." What? Why is ASU catching strays? Makes sense. That's so unnecessary.
That's probably pretty true. Honestly, I mean, I feel like to some degree, there's a hard line between being a hardo and a right. Okay, maybe it's just a little bit extra, but maybe there's plenty of guys that have great work ethic on Arizona State, but I love that.
Don't. Again, why are they catching strays? Like that makes no sense to me. I thought that was not fair to ASU. Just because you're playing them doesn't mean you gotta throw them under the bus like that. That's crazy. That's a crazy thing to say, especially when ASU has a top scorer on their team in Bennett Shimek. Is that right? I might be pronounced wrong, but he's got 38 points in 27 games. 38 points. That is not someone who's just messing around.
I think you got to do more homework on him because isn't he a senior? I think it's Or not?
Yeah, so he's coming from Providence. He spent 2 years in Providence, transferred to ASU, which I would love to know why. That seems like a weird move to me. But he is a senior, but he's 22.
Yeah.
So
no, I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen him play at all, so that's a kid that I kind of ignored, but his point per game total, yeah. I mean, I saw that, and I was like, again, with those kids, I don't, and it's almost like, yeah, at the end of the day, a AHL contract or maybe a shot. It's like, because then you can get like a deal, even like with the ECHL. But I don't know enough. Like, that's where I'm like, I have to watch him in person because it's nauseating watching video. I don't know how some coaches / scouts, like, I would have to do everything in person still. Like, I love seeing the real deal. Like, it's just the screen is really, you don't get the whole picture. You really don't. You just get
my point of
of
bringing
the
him
look.
up is the fact that ASU is ranked, what is that, 29th? And the fact that they're ranked that low and they still have a guy who's in top scoring in the NCAA, he's doing something right.
Definitely. And I'm not here to be a stirrer, right?
I mean, aren't you, though? Aren't you a little bit?
A stirrer. Somewhat, but I don't try to be, but I don't even remember this kid at all, like in the USHL. He played in the USHL, played for Sioux City. Sorry, kid, I had no idea who you are at all. Well, now who's going to be the one talking next year? It's like, okay, I'm
But you know what? He's tied for third. Actually, Cruz Lucius is also tied for third, but he's drafted, so he's not relevant to this conversation, but that's another ASU guy. So the ASU has 2 guys tied for third in NCAA scoring, and they're ranked 29th.
Where's Chazzy boy?
Chazzy boy, that's another guy I wanted to come up to. Charlie Major. Charlie Major he's been good for Cornell. They love Cornell. Actually, when I saw
NHL scout said he's going to be a really good college player, and what is he? A really good. Again, all in the same boat.
14 points in 19 games played for Cornell. He's a sophomore, 21 years old, 5 goals, 9 assists. I actually got to see him play back in November when BU played Cornell at Madison Square Garden, and every person I came across, which firstly, of course, I got everyone cheering for Charlie. I got literally every single person I came across cheering for Charlie Major, whether they were there for Boston University or Cornell. But all the Cornell people I talked to said, he has been great for us. We love him. So Charlie's getting his day in the sun. Invited to Senators camp this past summer, so well-deserved for Charlie. Sure. Proud of you, Charlie. Actually, that game that I saw, Cornell versus BU, Charlie got an assist on Cornell's only goal, and pretty much every dangerous scoring opportunity was Charlie Major. So he's going to be a special player. And you bring back up Mick Thompson. They were both playing on the same line when they had their breakout seasons with the Steel. So
the boys of fate.
And they're keeping it going. So there's another USHL guy though. And I hate that like my whole list is all just like USHL, but I remember this guy when he was in the USHL, Jack Musa. Remember Jack Musa?
I saw that name. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been good for UMass.
He's had a great year. It's almost
like
when Chris Delaney had a huge year last year, but I think
this season 26 games played, 28 points. Last season was 40 games played, 35 points. So
skill guy.
He's doing better than he was last year.
His brother's in the U show too for CR. But yeah, I think he's a sneaky player. I mean, I think
that's the perfect word for him, sneaky.
They all fit a similar bill though. Like they all have really good skill. They're all deserving. Even if they weren't drafted, they deserve a chance, and their results are showing. Like, and I just think he's got a crafty playmaker / but he's got a good shot, and he's sneaky and good on the power play, good skill guy, and
would you disagree if I said he was kind of a Hage type player?
Not at all, because I feel like he is kind of behind the scenes.
I feel like I've been going through my whole list. So, is there anyone that I haven't mentioned that you think is worth mentioning?
That's a good question. I mean, what about goalies? Because, we got to give goalies some love.
I'll look at my list. So. Yeah, I mean, so far we've talked about Jake Livanovich, Dylan Raskovian, Mick Thompson, Charlie Major, Jack Musa. This is all like forwards and let's get a goalie in the mix maybe. Let's give a goalie some love because they deserve it.
What's his face?
I love that guy. That's my favorite player. What's his face?
Well, there's a couple of goalies I had because the guys I saw at least defensively and stuff. I'm like, yeah, they'll get a chance. It's like great. Alex Tracy and Albin Bolia.
Oh my god.
What's his name? What's that guy's name? On Maine.
What team?
On Maine. He's a goalie.
On Maine.
I had the pronunciation. I'm like, yeah, I got it, but no, I didn't.
Yeah,
Albin Boya.
Oh, you know what? So we talked about this guy a little bit in the last
Yeah, you got
episode.
to edit
Lawton
that shit out.
Zacher,
So edit that
Northeastern.
piece out. Albin Boya, Rachel, and Tracy. I like that kid on Minnesota State.
Mankato.
Yeah, Mankato.
Okay. What do you like about him?
Goalies. I think they're good numbers. That's what we talk about. Really good save percentage.
There's a
That's
lot
about
of
it.
undrafted goalies in the NCAA. There is a lot of them.
What's his face? Um, what's his face though? He was like goalie of the year last year. Alex Tracy.
Yeah, there's a lot of players in Mankato,
Yeah, I mean,
Alex
again,
Tracy.
I
Yeah,
don't think he's gonna be the next Marty Brodeur or anything like that, but I don't really have anyone else besides those guys.
well,
At
but
least I really care
so
for.
Alex Tracy, he's been Mankato's go-to guy for
Right.
past 3 seasons, pretty much.
Right.
Right. Um, yeah, I mean, he's a fun player to watch. He's got similar. I feel like a lot of the goalies in the NCAA are really similar.
Yeah,
Like
they're boring.
we were talking about this with the Beam Pod episode, where all of the goalies in the Beam Pod were all pretty much exactly the same. Which again, I'm looking at Lawton Zacher for Northeastern, who is not drafted, but he's been really good for Northeastern. He's 22, and he just transferred to Northeastern this season.
22.
Thank you, Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
Which it's also interesting how the changed transfer rules has really impacted how the NCAA like works in the off season, especially. You know, it wasn't that long ago that when you transferred, you weren't allowed to play the year that you transferred.
Yeah. You have to go to the USHL basically, and now it's gonna be all.
You basically just sat there for a season watching your team play without you.
Just to stay fresh. I mean, you just go to the USHL. Honestly, like it was. I mean, stupid. Yeah, I'm glad they actually changed that though, because
I'm glad they changed that too.
It was
especially
really silly.
Because again, it's makes for fun hockey because again, you have Lawton Zacher from Northeastern who was at Brown before, and he made that transfer. This is his first year at Northeastern, and he's playing really well for them. But imagine what would have happened if he wasn't allowed to play this season and had to start next season.
Yeah, no, but in terms of other guys, I mean, JJ Weebush was another guy too. He should be again. I think they're all in the same boat per se. Like he's plays for Penn State. He's having a good year. And again, similar. I don't really care what league they came from, but at least I know them from. A lot of them have came so far. That's going to change from the USHL, and that's where college hockey, like Hockey Canada.
Well, yeah, that's of course.
Take a hike.
Was it 2 years ago that the Canadian leagues announced that if you play there, you're allowed to play in college, and that was a big blow for the USHL.
Jack and whatever it is. Jack and whatever. What is the saying? Jekyll and Hyde or whatever. I can't.
Jekyll and Hyde? Is that the word you're looking? Jekyll?
Yeah.
It's not even. It's a name.
They're just so hypocritical, honestly, and they got to figure that. That's a whole other conversation too. Because it's just no, and college is different because these kids get paid now. So
yeah,
it's actually a whole. I have a whole other opinion on that.
That's a whole other conversation. But I am glad that college players are getting paid because it's not fair to profit off of them and not give them any of the cut. So yeah, they deserve it. They absolutely deserve to be paid. That was a long time coming. I'm glad that they are finally getting paid because they really deserve that.
JJ Weebush. I mean, again, like they're all nothing special guys. I think it's just important to reiterate too what it doesn't matter if you get drafted or not. Like if you look at all the guys that have played at least like 100 games in the NHL, it's amazing too. Like over the years, because like I think the draft.
I mean, there've been some. really notable players who were not Marty San Luis was not drafted.
That's probably the most, like, I wouldn't say known, but I think it's almost like the whole landscape of that situation where he's a little guy, no one gives him a chance, and he's a Hall of Famer. Like, he's unbelievable, right? But like Eddie Belfour, I didn't know he was under. I mean, this guy played like 30 years ago.
There's so many.
But like,
there's so many really great players right now who were not drafted. Colin Graf for the Sharks right now.
Bobrovsky, some of those Russian guys.
Nicholas Backstrom.
But like Dwayne Rolls, like Cam Talbot, Marty Jones, Glenn
Cam Talbot, he'd get him out of that conversation.
There's your boy Ante Ranta, Jonas Hiller, Ty
Riddick,
Conklin,
Logan Thompson.
There's just, we could go on and on and on.
There's so many great players.
Adam Oates, who's got his own agency, if you're listening. Yeah, I know.
Hi, Adam.
I've called a couple times.
Goated Sean Avery, that goat.
So the
greatest player to ever wear a Rangers
sweater. Me, man, that guy's older than I thought. He played from 1980 to 1995.
I was gonna ask Peter or Paul, but then I realized
Joe Mullen. I mean, he was unbelievable. He had an unbelievable career. He had
so I mean, being drafted versus not being drafted, it's not the end of the world. Of course, you'd rather be drafted than not. But
Aaron.
The point is that there's so many great players who haven't been drafted, and of course you'd rather be drafted, but it's not the end of the world if you're not. That doesn't mean you're not going to make it. But I'll never forget Jack Harvey telling me, if I get drafted, great, cool, dream come true. If I don't, it's not the end of the world. Hockey's not forever. Hockey's not everything. And I loved that from him. That was very mature of him. That was something I really appreciated hearing from him. And then he ended up being drafted a few months later, so that was great. That was really cool. But
Tampa, baby.
It doesn't. Yeah, Tampa Bay. Very late pick there, but still got it. And again, it just really goes to say that just because you're not drafted doesn't mean they're not paying attention to you. Again, you have Mick, who went to Toronto camp. You have Charlie, who went to the Senators. Livanovich, who went to Red Wings. So all of these guys, they're not grinding for nothing. It's
no, it doesn't mean, it really doesn't. It doesn't mean, so.
And again, of course, would rather be drafted than not. But it doesn't mean you're not going to get a chance. If you work hard and you put in the effort and you really work on yourself, your game, the way you are off the ice, the way you are on the ice, the way you interact with your teammates, the way you even just do your schoolwork.
Just a human being.
All of that matters. Like, just being a person, being a good person, it makes a difference.
Yeah, I don't care what kind of, I mean, unless I'm working for the organization that's like gonna sign you. But yeah, I mean, I'm at the point of you don't need to hear a Mark Citron philosophy lesson here. It's just, but yeah.
I mean, that's what the people are here for.
But yeah, I think if you stick to Ivy League too, I don't know. I don't really have, it's funny because like they'll give you like a whole PR thing about a list of guys, but at least right now, yeah, he makes some, like TJ was a good mention, right? Like he's had a heck of a year. You give credit where it's due. These guys have, they're playing on some of them good teams, some of them not. Yeah, I guess we'll just have to find out, but they should definitely get that opportunity. So I think that's where it's going to be nice to have Max Sassone on, because he was a guy that fits this whole bill where I just was always like, man, he's a pretty good player. He's not the biggest guy, but I'm like, he scores. He's in the right spots, does the right things, is good.
He's got the work ethic. It makes a difference.
It's like, Vancouver, again, like look at what is it, the Hudson? I talked about them too over the time, like his Quinn Hudson. I was looking, and like, yeah, like he's a good player. Like he's, it's like, but is
I believe Cole was the one to send BU to the Beam Pop final in that shootout.
Yeah, cool. It's funny because they're like, don't sleep on him. Don't sleep on him. I'm not, but it's like Lane, as I said last week.
I think everyone knows about the Hudsons.
No, but Lane was in a league himself, at least for me. It was like, he's one of the best players I've seen. Unreal. And by the way, the scouting report on that family, it's just like the compete level. They're so intense, like they're just can't lose.
My standout here, I'm gonna have to go with
soccer.
with Dylan Raskovian as my standout. I promise the next episode I will not mention this man because I'm getting tired of talking about it.
Yeah, Mikey Higgins has got to be thrown in there too. What's his stat line?
I think he's got like 5 points. Like he's
got like 12. Okay, he's played like almost 2 full seasons, but
yeah,
I think he could be a
like
breakout guy next year. Though. He's definitely an honorable mention. I'll give for to watch. Like his
interesting about him. What makes him such a fun player to watch? Michael Higgins, brother James Higgins. He's a defenseman, and I know this just because of we know him. Before he was a defenseman, he was a forward, and you can notice that when you watch him play because he's always open. Like it's actually crazy. He's always open. Like somehow there's just never anyone covering him. He's always open to make a play without sacrificing the blue line. And that I agree with you. He's an honorable mention because that is what makes him such an interesting and unique player.
The dude.
The dude. Yeah, I mean, again, his first season with the Steel, he was the highest scoring defenseman in terms of goals. He had the most goals out of all the defensemen.
Yeah, but now, I mean, again, I think he's just one of the, like a Jake Levin, similar to like, I think he could have a big year, next year, and even when he's a senior, like similar to these other guys, season. Like, yeah, he needs. But that doesn't, he'll get it, and it just comes with time, and he's an honorable mention, but I definitely had to include the dude. Come on now, I mean,
great family too. Yeah, love that family.
I like the fact that he said he's open all the time.
He is. Again, that's where it's obvious. I think it was like a year or two before he even came to the Steel that he was still playing forward. So when he came to the Steel, that was like his first year of like actually being full-time a defenseman. And again, it's obvious when you watch him play that he's got something different that other defensemen don't because he's used to playing forward. It's interesting. Sure. It's like you got Layla Edwards for University of Wisconsin, who, shouts to Layla, became the first ever Black woman to represent Team USA hockey. Shouts to her in Milan. Yeah, love her. She's so fun. But she could play both forward and defense. That's crazy. Like, that's an incredibly rare trait to have, and that's what makes for a really fun player.
Well, I was just saying, it was good. I feel like the future of hockey could be some sort of hybrid. Like, I think you're gonna have to. The game's gonna be so skilled that, like, I'm gonna.
Well, yeah, the defensemen are jumping in more.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me if you could play both. Like, eventually, you could play D offense and like it's almost like the NFL, where you can be a different type of player, because I think it's gonna get to that skill the way it's going right now, evolving.
Well, and again, I think that part of what makes him such an honorable mention is the fact that he's dynamic. It's the fact that he can play any kind of role you need him to. If you need him to jump in more offensively, he'll be there jumping in offensively. But if you need him to say, hey, fall back, protect the blue line, he'll do it.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's definitely got to watch, but it'll be interesting to see, at least with how their careers end up and things like that, though. And it'll be good to get somebody's perspective that's in the show right now with a good opportunity, and he's earned it too. I mean, a guy playing with the Canucks right now, and it's a younger guy too, wasn't drafted, so we'll get some insight from him, for a bonus feature or whatever it might be on Sunday. But so some questions for him, and see just what his thoughts too as a player, because I'm sure they'll probably give some typical response of, yeah, you're not really worried about that, you're just playing the best you can, and
you got the like generic responses that hockey players always give. Oh yeah, we just gotta play our game, get pucks deep, play behind the net, for sure. Speed through the neutral zone. Oh yeah, for sure. All right.
Exactly.
But so all right, we're gonna close our undrafted special here. Again, my standouts gotta be Raskovian and Livanovich. They're really fun players to watch. Who are your two standouts? Give me two standouts.
I like Dexheimer, and I like Bennett Schmeek or whatever his name is. No, I don't, honestly.
I was gonna say you would just say.
I'd probably just say I'd probably just do what's his face. Not Weebush. I think he's pretty good though. I like JJ Weebush. And I had a goalie. I liked Alex Tracy.
Tracy, yeah.
He seems like a good kid. And my shout out to my boy Jumbo Higgins as well.
Yes, Michael Higgins, honorable mention. Again, I feel like he's in his
Mikey
shadow
Higgins,
a little bit
the
of his
dude.
brother.
Sorry,
but...
I'm like,
yeah, you keep saying Jumbo. I'm like, he was drafted. Like, he was absolutely drafted.
I'm like, I'm pulling a Pete right now.
Last year.
Okay, so all right, if I had to do it, okay. What about you said Musa earlier?
Yeah, I said Musa, Jack Musa.
I like that. I'll steal that from you.
All right, so Mark's standouts are Alex Tracy and the goalie and Jack Musa at UMass. Mine are Roscovian at
main goal. I like the main goalie too. I mean,
I
think he's gonna get a chance. He's had an okay year. I don't know. I honestly forget his name. It's Buian.
Again, goaltending in the NCAA, it's like you're either exactly the same as everyone else or you're bad.
Yeah.
It's like no in between.
I like Hampton Sukinski, but he's already
he's drafted. Yeah. Again, lots of players to look out for in the NCAA. There's a lot of really interesting undrafted talent. Again, shouts to Roscovian, Tracy, Livanovich. I forgot who your other guy was. And of course, to Michael Higgins.
I do like Musa though. I like Musa.
A lot of really fun players to watch in the NCAA. And again, just because you're not drafted does not mean you're not going to get your chance. But next week, we're going to have a really fun guest on with Max Sassone with the Vancouver Canucks, former Western Michigan Bronco. So it'll be fun to talk to him, learn about his development, but also his take on these undrafted players. So thanks for joining us.